All right, what's up, guys? We should be live. Should be good to go. We got a 7-game slate tonight. We did have a bunch of news come out during the day. Today was the trade deadline, so there was a lot of trades that went down this afternoon that have really impacted this slate. I kind of expected that to be the case. Washington, they're the team that really got impacted by trades. So they're without Spencer Dinwiddie now. He's no longer on the team. They're without Montrezl Harrell. He's no longer on the team. They're without Aaron Holiday. He's no longer on the team. So they're going to be missing three key guys. They're going to be missing 2 starters, Dinwiddie, Harrell, Holiday, all out. Man, there's going to be a lot to like from Washington here. It's a pretty good matchup against Brooklyn. Brooklyn defensively just has not been that good lately. This game has one of the higher totals on the slate. Yeah, I think Kyle Kuzma, without Dinwiddie, without Bradley Beal, he should get massive usage. I kind of already liked Kuzma to begin with. Now with Dinwiddie out, I think Kuzma just looks even better. I think in terms of the guards, with no Holiday and with no Dinwiddie, we probably see Raul Neto start at point guard. I think Raul Neto's one of the better value plays on this slate if he does wind up starting. He's really cheap on both sides. I like Neto quite a bit if he does wind up starting. And then without Montrezl Harrell and Daniel Gafford, he's out right now too. Good chance we get 25, 26 minutes from Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant so far this season has not really been that good on a point per minute basis. But when he was healthy last year, he was a really good point per minute player. I think the matchup against Brooklyn, the cheap price point, the increase in minutes he should get with Harrell no longer on the team. I think Thomas Bryant's a pretty good value play as well. Then if you want to go to guys like KCP, Denny Avia, I don't have anything against that. I think both KCP and Avia are in play. If Corey Kispert starts, I don't mind him. He's minimum salary. Washington, they're going to be a team you have to kind of look to for value today. With all the trades that went down, there's a lot to like from the Wizards. And then, some other news. We did get word from Toronto that Fred VanVleet's going to be out. This is the second half of a back-to-back for Toronto, so they're sitting VanVleet. We kind of know when it comes to Toronto, they're going to run a really tight rotation. So, I think with VanVleet being out, you just see, probably heavier minutes for Siakam, OG, Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent. These guys just, they're going to play a ton. Their usage should be up without VanVleet. Maybe you get some minutes from Banton. Maybe you get some minutes from Malachi Flynn. But I think the main guys, Siakam, OG, Barnes, Trent, those are the guys that really benefit without Fred VanVleet. And then whoever starts, I think it'll either be Precious Achiuwa or Chris Boucher. If Chris Boucher starts, I like him a lot. If Achiuwa starts, I think he's in play as well. We'll definitely have to pay attention to that Raptors starting lineup. And I think that's really all the news for today. The trade deadline was kind of crazy with all those Wizards guys being out. That's had a big impact on this slate. VanVleet got ruled out as well. And that's just about it. So yeah, guys, if you have questions tonight, you can start throwing those in chat. We'll be live till about 6:30. We'll try and answer all your guys' questions, and hopefully we can win some money tonight. A lot of trades happened today. Had to redo everything. Yeah, I mean this was a tough day to build lineups early. I mean I usually never build lineups early, and especially on today's slate or with it being the trade deadline, there was going to be a bunch of trades that happened that were going to impact the slate. So I think just waiting to make lineups was the play for today. Noah, in your opinion, who won the Nets and Brooklyn trade? I think it's a good trade for both teams. The Sixers got rid of, or Nets Brooklyn trade. I think you meant Nets Sixers trade. I mean the Sixers got rid of Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons he wasn't going to fit in Philadelphia. I don't think that was going to really work out. So they got rid of Ben Simmons, who I think is still a pretty good player. I'm excited to watch Ben Simmons play in Brooklyn. And they got Harden as a replacement. Obviously, Harden's a really good player. It'll be interesting to see, how Harden and Embiid play together. Those are 2 very high usage players. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But I think it was a pretty good trade for both teams. I'm excited to watch Ben Simmons play again. I hope he'll be back soon. A lot of trade going down. I like Thomas Bryant now because because the Gafford and because of the Harrell trade and Gafford out. Yeah, I like Thomas Bryant as well. Thomas Bryant's projecting out as one of the best value plays. Hard not to like him at 3,300 with the increase in minutes he should get without Harrell. How would you rank the Wizards' values? We'll have to wait and see what the starting lineup is, but I think definitely the top 2 values from Washington for me are going to be Neto and Bryant. And then I would probably say third would probably, it's going to depend on starters. I'm guessing the starting lineup will be Neto, KCP, Kispert, Kuzma, Bryant. So I'm guessing Neto and Kispert start. But if Denny Avia starts, I think you could put him up there. KCP I think's in play regardless. But definitely my favorite 2 values are Neto and Bryant from the Wizards. Powell or Bryant, a good center value. I mean, I think Thomas Bryant's a good center value. Dwight Powell, I'm not as high on. Like, I think with Maxi Kleber back, like, that doesn't make me that interested in Dwight Powell. Yeah, I don't think Powell's a guy I'd be going to, but I definitely like Bryant. Any interest in Kelly Olynyk? I wonder if Kelly Olynyk would play in a blowout. I think if this game gets ugly, which is a good possibility, like, if you told me that Kelly Olynyk would play in a blowout, I'd actually have a lot of interest in Kelly Olynyk, but I don't know, man. Like, with Trey Lyles traded, I think that does open up the door for more minutes for Olynyk, with Lyles no longer on the team. But, like, if this game's close, I think Kelly Olynyk only plays, like, 15, 18 minutes, maybe, like, 20 minutes. If you were to play in a blowout, like, if the game got ugly and they just played Kelly Olynyk in the blowout, I would like Olynyk a lot, because I think if he gets blowout run, he's going to, probably do well. But I think there's other values I prefer. I'll just say that. There's other values that I feel better about. How would you rank Luka, Ja, Giannis, and Kyrie for projections? I mean, just in terms of, projected fantasy points, I mean, Giannis has to be at the top. He usually always projects as one of the top options. I mean, I think Kyrie's a really good pay-up option. I like him quite a bit. I probably would put him behind Giannis, but if you're just asking for, like, raw projection, it would probably be Giannis, Luka, Ja, Kyrie in that order. But if I had to rank those, I would go Giannis, Kyrie, Luka, Ja. Giannis or Luka? I prefer Giannis. Hamidou Diallo, not much interest in Diallo for me. How many minutes has Diallo even been playing? I mean, he's 4,800, so it's not like you're getting Diallo at that great of a price point anyway. Like, if he plays like 25, 26 minutes, I mean, he might do decent at 4,800, but I think it's really unlikely that Hamidou Diallo puts up a score that you have to have at 4,800. So I'm not too interested in Diallo. Yeah, Nicholas Claxton's out. I did see that. So now with Nicholas Claxton out, I mean, that does open the door for Blake Griffin to get some good minutes. Now, last game, Blake Griffin was pretty terrible. The entire Nets team was terrible last game. But we saw the game before that against Denver, whenever Claxton and Aldridge were both out, Blake Griffin played 30 minutes. So, like, if Blake Griffin plays 30 minutes today against the Wizards in a pretty good spot, like, I think Blake Griffin's a decent value. I don't feel great about his minutes. Like, I think they'll play Daron Sharp if they want to. Like, the way Steve Nash has been running his rotations, it's not good. I mean, he's been running, like, they have 10 available players, and he's been playing all 10 guys. Like, last game, I think everyone played at least, like, 20 minutes or 15 minutes. So, I don't know. He's kind of been spreading out the minutes. Outside of the main guys like Kyrie and Patty Mills, like, you just never know what the minutes are going to be like for all these other Nets. But I think now that Claxton is out, like, Blake Griffin is in play if you wanted to go there. I probably would rather save salary, though, and play Bryant, who's, way cheaper. How many Wizards is too much? I mean, I think you can probably play 3-4 Wizards. I mean, all the best value on the slate is coming from Washington, so I'm fine playing 3 to 4 Wizards. And I think right now in my main lineup, I have 4. Who are you looking at for Yahoo small forward? I mean, I think OG without Fred VanVleet. I like OG quite a bit. I think if you're going cheap, I'd probably be looking to like Patty Mills or Alec Burks. I think without RJ Barrett, I think Alec Burks probably plays more tonight. So like that, those are kind of the 3 small forwards I like on Yahoo. OG, if you can fit him. If you can't and you want to go cheap, I like Patty Mills and Alec Burks. But yeah, small forward, man, on Yahoo, it's pretty bad. It's always a tough position to fill, especially tonight. Thoughts on Zubac? I don't have much interest in Zubac. His minutes just have not been that great. I know they did trade away Serge Ibaka today, but I mean, like Zubac, you never know how many minutes this dude's gonna play. Some nights he'll play like 25, some nights he'll play 20, some nights he'll play 18. Like it's a total guessing game when it comes to like the Clippers rotations. So I don't feel great about Zubac personally. Thoughts on Şengün? I think if Şengün continues to start, I feel pretty good about Şengün. Şengün has been starting lately in place of Eric Gordon. They've been going big and starting Şengün alongside Christian Wood. If Şengün does start, I think he's a good value. If he doesn't start, then it gets a little tricky. But for now, I'm expecting him to start again. And if that's the case, I think Şengün is definitely in play. Who you like, Powell or Kleber with Porzingis gone? Well, Porzingis was already out anyway. Like, Porzingis has been injured, so the Porzingis trade for this slate doesn't really impact anything because he was already out to begin with. James Johnson or Blake Griffin? I'll side with Blake Griffin, but that's a close one. I think if James Johnson's back in the starting lineup, that would be pretty close for me. But if James Johnson comes off the bench like he did last game, then I would definitely side with Griffin. Would J-Val, Middleton, or Drew? Give me Christian Wood there. Would you try to fit Luka and Giannis, or would you rather play Kyrie and Siakam? I mean, it all comes down to your lineup build. I mean, there's enough value on this slate to where if you want to pay if you want to play Luka and Giannis, you can definitely make it work. But there are guys that are cheaper that I do like quite a bit. I like Kyrie quite a bit. I think Siakam's a great play. Julius Randle I have some interest in. Devin Booker I like quite a bit. Like, I don't think you have to jam in the studs today like Luka and Giannis, but I mean, there's enough value you can pretty easily make it work if you wanted to go that route. Right now, though, in my lineup, I don't have Luka or Giannis. 2 nights watching, 2 nights cashing. Who's your best DK cash players? Already have Kuzma and Kyrie locked in. Thanks for all your hard work. Let's keep cashing. I mean, I would say you're going to be playing Wizards. If you're playing cash games, you have to be loading up on Wizards. Burks or Diallo? I would take Burks straight up. Morant, Irving, or Siakam? Give me Kyrie there. But that's close between Kyrie and Siakam. I do like Siakam quite a bit now that Van Vliet's out. Thomas Bryant, Olynyk, or Şengün? That's close between Bryant and Şengün. Like, if Şengün starts, I think I'd take him over Bryant. I know on Yahoo, like, Şengün is, pretty cheap on there. So, like, I think I would take Şengün over Bryant on Yahoo if we know Şengün's starting. So, we'll have to pay attention to that Rockets starting lineup. I don't know when we're going to get it. Hopefully, we get it before the Wizards game starts. Yeah, I don't know about Rui. I think Rui should play more. But, like, they haven't really played Rui much this season to begin with. Like, he's just kind of been, like, a bench guy that's played, like, 20 minutes. And we haven't seen, like, massive minutes for Rui. I think last game he played a lot just because it was a blowout. He played a lot in the fourth quarter. I mean, you would think he probably plays more without Harrell. But I don't know, man. Like, Rui just hasn't been that great this year on a point-per-minute basis. He's towards the bottom of my list in terms of Wizard values. Kemba Walker over 25 minutes. I mean, I don't feel confident in that at all. It's going to all depend on how Kemba's playing on his minutes. Like Tibbs, Tibbs is just going to ride the hot hand. So if Kemba's struggling, he'll play Kemba 15 minutes. If Kemba's knocking down shots and playing really well, you could see Kemba play over 25 minutes. But, man, I have no confidence in his minutes right now. Am I crazy for liking Daron Sharp more than Washington centers? I mean, Sharp for me, like, he benefited last game because it was a blowout. He played a ton in the blowout. How many minutes did he play altogether? Like, he played 24 minutes. Like, I would think that he's probably just going to back up Blake Griffin. And then they might play some small ball lineups. They might play James Johnson at the 5 a little bit. My best guess is we get, like, 18 minutes from Daron Sharp if this is a close game. If the game blows out, then, yeah, it could, he could play more. But expecting a close game, I don't think Sharp really gets there. Best value small forward. I mean, if you're talking for a Draftkings, if you're going cheap at small forward, you're probably playing a Wizard. So either like Denny Avia or Corey Kispert, Cam Reddish. If he starts for RJ Barrett, I like Cam Reddish for value. So probably like one of those guys. KCP. Any interest in James Johnson? If James Johnson starts, I would like him. He came off the bench last game. We'll have to pay attention to the starting lineup for Brooklyn. Brooklyn did waive DeAndre Bembry, and I think Bembry started last game, so we'll have to see who starts in place of Bembry. It probably will be James Johnson if I had to guess. Is 4 Wizards too much? I don't think so. I think you can definitely play 4. How about Patty Mills tonight? I mean, I think Patty Mills is in play, with Harden out or no longer on the team. KD's still out. Like, he's going to be the number 2 on offense behind Kyrie. Patty Mills is not a guy that I like to roster just because he's really, really scoring dependent, but we've seen him have really big games in the past whenever KD and Harden have been out. He's still going to take a backseat to Kyrie, but I think Patty Mills is in play today. Going Irving, Mann, Triple J, Şengün, Melton, KCP, Finney Smith. Oh, David. David, there's some guys I definitely would not be playing in that lineup if that was my lineup. But you do you, my man. You do you. Thanks for all you do. Hit the like button. So point per dollar, Siakam or Randall, and why? I'll probably say Siakam. Better matchup against Houston. No Van Vliet is big for Siakam. Just, his usage is just going to go up even more. before the slate started, like when I made my video yesterday, I preferred Randall, but I think now that Van Vliet's out, I would lane Siakam over Randall. How many minutes you project Bryant for? The projections I use, I think, have him projected for like 26, and that's about what I would expect. I think mid to high 20s is pretty likely for Thomas Bryant in terms of minutes, and I think if he's playing well, you could maybe see him get like 30, 32 minutes. Who do you like in the later games? I mean, I think just like the stars are where you're going in the later games. Like from the Milwaukee Phoenix game, Giannis, CP3, Devin Booker, all those guys are in play for me. From the Knicks Warriors game, I think on the Knicks side we could get some value. We'll have to wait and see who starts for RJ Barrett. Like if Cam Reddish winds up starting for Barrett, I would like Reddish for value. I don't know if it's going to be Reddish. It could be Burks. It could be Quickly. It could be Quentin Grimes. But there's probably some value you could go to from the Knicks if or whoever starts for Barrett. But I think, in the later games, you're just kind of looking at like the stars. So like Giannis, CP3, Booker, Julius Randle, Steph. All the values coming from like Washington today. Like that's where you're getting most of your value from. Favorite center on Yahoo points per dollar. I mean, it's probably, if you can't fit Siakam, like it's Siakam or Şengün, like one of those two. I mean, I like both quite a bit. I think you could play both if you wanted to. Because we did just get word that Eric Gordon is out, so I'm guessing with Eric Gordon out again, we will see Şengün start again. How many Washington would you play, and would you focus Kuzma or just value? I mean, I think you can play 3-4 Wizards. I don't think I'd play 5, but I think 2 or 3 value guys with Kuzma is totally fine. So if you want to play Neto, Bryant, Kuzma, Neto, Bryant, KCP, Kuzma, I think that's totally fine. I mean, outside of, you look at their lineup, or I mean, you look at their players, like outside of Kuzma, the most expensive player is 3,600. So like, there's just so much value here. I mean, the second most expensive player on the team is 3,600. Like, basically everyone is under 4K on this team except for Kuzma. So some of these guys are going to do well and outperform their price points. Thoughts on Randall? I mean, I think Julius Randle's in play. He's kind of fell down a little bit on my list just because, now that Van Vliet's out, I like Siakam quite a bit. Now that we have more value on this slate, I think paying up for Luka, Giannis is something you could do. I really like Kyrie, but Julius Randle's definitely in play. His role without RJ Barrett should be pretty good tonight. I do worry a little bit about blowout. If the Knicks can keep the game close, though, I think Randle probably is the reason why. And he's been playing really well lately. To clarify amount of Wizards, max amount with Kuzma and without in DK tournaments. So if you're playing Kuzma, I mean, it's hard to say because like these guys are all so cheap that like I think you could play 3 value guys with Kuzma and that could be 4 Wizards. I don't know if I would play 4 value guys with Kuzma, but like these guys are all so cheap that like if Kuzma drops 50 tonight and does really well, that doesn't mean that like nobody else is going to do well. I mean, some of these guys are probably going to still have really good games at their price points because they're all so cheap. So like I think you could play 2-3 value guys with Kuzma if you wanted to. Shooting guard for 5,800. Let's see. Oh man, there's not much in that price range I like. If you could find salary to get up to like Gary Trent, like I think Gary Trent's my favorite shooting guard in that range now that Van Vliet's out. But yeah, 5,800 and below, I mean, there's nothing I really like. It's pretty gross. You're probably looking at like Diallo, and I don't even really like Diallo that much. I'm looking at Kyrie and Siakam. Should I play Kuzma or pay up for Randall and use value? Is Kuzma a must play? I mean, dude, there's never must plays in DFS. The closest thing to a must play today is going to be like the value guys, just because the value guys are going to have to play minutes and they're all so cheap. Like Kuzma could still fail at his price point, whereas those value guys, it's pretty unlikely they fail at their price tags. So like if Neto plays 30 minutes, if Thomas Bryant plays 28, 30 minutes, they're probably going to crush their price points. Whereas Kuzma could just have like a bad shooting game and put up 30 DraftKings points. So Kuzma's definitely not a must play. Is Kuzma a good play today? He absolutely is. He projects really well, but he's not a must play. Best util 4,500 and under. I mean, you're probably looking to the Wizards guys. if you wanted to go like Blake Griffin, I don't hate that, but like Thomas Bryant, Raul Neto, KCP, Denny Avia, like these are the guys I'd be looking to for value that's that cheap. But I don't hate Blake Griffin down there either. You like Jackson Hayes tonight? I don't think so. I don't think Jackson Hayes is going to start. I don't think he started last game. He just played like really well off the bench. I mean, he's been getting good minutes, but now that his price is up and he's probably not going to start, I don't really like Jackson Hayes at his price point anymore. Is Raul Neto a must-play? I mean, I think he's like the closest thing to a must-play. Like, if we get word Raul Neto is starting at point guard, I mean, for 3,100, he's going to be a pretty good value. And he's projecting out as like the best value on the slate for good reason. Because Raul Neto, like even if he fails as chalk, it's probably because he scores like 15 DraftKings points. And if he scores 15 DraftKings points, you're obviously not going to, he's not helping you win anything, but he's also not killing your lineup. I'll say that. So I think he's the closest thing to a must-play on this slate. You like Scotty Barnes with no Van Vliet? I mean, Scotty Barnes definitely in play. I think Scotty Barnes might get some point guard minutes. They might start him at point guard. Like, he's been someone that can handle the ball. I don't think they're going to start, like, Banton or Malachi Flynn. So I think Scotty Barnes could be, like, the point guard today for Toronto with no Van Vliet. Scotty Barnes is one of these guys that has, like, triple-double upside. He can contribute in all categories. Like, we haven't seen a massive ceiling from Scotty Barnes, but I think in this matchup against Houston without Van Vliet, I definitely think Scotty Barnes is in play. I mean, all those main Raptors are in play for me. Mid-range point guards you like on Yahoo? Mid-range point guards? I mean, it's probably like KPJ. It depends what you consider mid-range. I mean, there's not many guys like in this mid-range. I mean, I wouldn't consider Chris Paul mid-range. I wouldn't consider, these guys mid-range. So, I mean, probably KPJ, I guess. Drew Holiday, I don't mind either. Any interest in Ja? I think Ja is a tournament play. I'm a little bit worried about blowout for Ja. I don't know if Ja plays his full minutes against Detroit because I think this game could be over by 3/4. But if this game does stay close and Ja plays 35, 36 minutes, I mean, he could absolutely crush against the Pistons. But I would definitely put like Luka and Giannis and Kyrie, Siakam, those guys I would probably put ahead of Ja. Gary Trent viable with no Van Vliet? Absolutely. Is Alec Burks a good play? I think Alec Burks is viable. If he starts for RJ Barrett, I feel a little bit better about him. But I think regardless, he should be looking at more minutes with Barrett out. Would you still take Şengün over Bryant if he's more expensive on FanDuel? I mean, if you can fit him, I think it's fine, Nicholas. It's going to come down to your lineup. Like, what other sacrifices are you making to get Şengün in over Bryant? But if you have the salary to get Şengün, I would take Şengün over Bryant if you have the salary. Neto, Irving, Kuzma, Siakam, Bryant, Kispert, Reddish, Randall. I think that's a pretty solid lineup, Daniel. Reddish, I'm a little hesitant on just because I don't know if he's going to start for RJ Barrett, but I think if he does, he will be a pretty good value. Coke or Pepsi? Oh, man, those are my two favorite sodas. But I got to go Pepsi. I love Pepsi, dude. Pepsi's such a good soda. Soda's, it's not good for you, but, man, it's weird. Like, soda, it's not good for you, but, damn, it just tastes so good. Especially, like, with a meal. Like, I don't just drink soda, like, just, sit at the desk and drink soda, but anytime I'm eating a meal, I go out to eat, like, I always get soda. And it's probably not good, but I got water right now. Like, I'm drinking water at my desk. But I don't know why, man. When I go out to eat and stuff, I always drink soda. Those are my two favorites, Coke and Pepsi. But I would say Pepsi's better. Pepsi's super underrated. Crowder for cash on DK. I don't think I'd be playing Jay Crowder in cash. I know he's had some good games recently, but he's not like a value guy you would be playing cash. Cash games, for those of you that play cash games, if you still do play cash games, like in cash games, you're trying to build out the best projected lineup you can. You're trying to play the most optimal lineup, the highest projected lineup possible. So, whatever the top value plays are, you're playing those guys in cash. Jay Crowder is not projecting out as a top value play today. You're not playing him in cash. You're playing Raul Neto. You're playing Thomas Bryant. Those are the guys that are projecting out well. And even if they bust, they're still the best cash plays. Cash games are, I mean, they're dying. Like, I don't know. I feel like most people should not play cash games. You should really just focus on tournaments. Thoughts on Gary Trent Jr.? I already have Pascal and 7,100 left for util. I mean, I'm fine playing Trent and Pascal together. Just because, like, if the game's close, I mean, you'll get 38, 40 minutes from Trent, Pascal, OG, Scotty Barnes. Like, we know those guys are playing huge minutes, and it's such a good matchup too, so I have no issues playing Trent and Pascal together. Şengün or Boucher on DK. If we get word that Boucher is starting, I'd rather play Boucher over Şengün. Do you only do single entries or do you do multiple entries? For NBA, I usually just play one lineup. You know, NBA is a sport where you get news constantly coming out all the time. It's always hard to manage a lot of lineups. Like if you have a lot of lineups in play and like some crazy news comes out after lock, I mean, it's just so hectic trying to manage all those lineups. Even if you have access to an optimizer and stuff, it can be kind of difficult. So me personally, I just like to play one lineup in NBA. And if some crazy shit happens after lock, you know, I can make my adjustments, do what I need to do. I'm a one lineup guy though for NBA. For NFL, I usually will play, you know, I'll max enter for NFL. $30 at Ford. OG is $30, I believe, so I'd probably take OG there. Yeah, OG or Kuzma. Probably Kuzma if you don't have Kuzma already. One of those two. Triple J or OG? Give me OG. Must not watch basketball that much. I've never heard of Şengün. I'd never heard of Şengün until the season started. I think Şengün played like really, really well in the summer league, but I don't pay attention to summer league. That's something I do want to start getting into though. But yeah, Şengün, I never heard of Şengün either until the season started. What do you think about Banton? I don't think I'd be going to Banton. I just don't think he's going to get the minutes. Like, we've seen Toronto be so locked in on playing their main guys so many minutes. So, like, even with Van Vliet out, I don't think they're going to play Banton a ton or Malachi Flynn. Like, I don't think they're going to play those guys. They're just going to give more minutes to the main guys. They're going to give more minutes to Boucher, to Achua. Maybe you see Svi Mykhailiuk get some minutes, but yeah. Unless Banton starts, I don't have much confidence in Banton. Portis or Barnes? I would take Scotty Barnes. Larry's cheap on FanDuel, plus Hero could be out. Dude, Larry, I feel like you type that every day, like Larry's cheap on FanDuel. I think Larry's been cheap on FanDuel for like the past month. But yes, that price tag is too cheap for Lowry, especially if Hero's out. Olynyk or Avia? I'd probably take Avia. McGee or Kleber? God, I don't really like either one, Mark. I guess give me Kleber. Brunson or Mills? I'd go Brunson if you have the salary. Thanks for all you do. Hit the like button. Yeah, guys, hit the like button. Appreciate you, James. Appreciate you, my man. We'll be live for just a few more minutes. I'm going to answer these last few questions, then we'll hop out of here. Cash games are boring. I mean, yeah, cash games just like, I don't know. I feel like most casual DFS players, the thought of just like doubling up your money is just not exciting. And like cash games are so dominated by pros now that they're just not even worth playing. Because like if you post head-to-heads, like you're just going to get scooped by pro players. You know, if you're playing in double ups, you're just going to see pro players, you know, max entering. Like the multi-entry double ups, those are terrible to play because pro players are just going to, you know, max enter those. Like really the only people that still play cash games are people that, you know, are good at cash games. Whereas I think tournaments, you can find people that play tournaments that, you know, don't know what they're doing because tournaments attract more casual players. What do I do if a player is ruled out of my prospects lineup? For that, it'll just count like as a DMP. So if you did like a 3-pick power and someone got ruled out, it'll just be a 2-pick power at that point. If you did a 4-pick power and a player gets ruled out, it'll become a 3-pick power. So it just basically reverts down 1. And that, you know, that 1 pick is voided. Paul Irving or Holiday? I would take Kyrie there. Corey Joseph, I don't have much interest in Corey Joseph. Even with Cade out, like, I just never get excited to roster Corey Joseph. I think there's just better value to go to. Is KCP worth it? I think KCP is definitely in play. He's probably like my, I don't know, 3rd, maybe 4th favorite Wizards value. Probably would put Neto and Bryant ahead of him. Trenton OG or Ja and Burks? Give me Ja and Burks. Cam Thomas thoughts? With Kyrie back, I don't really have any interest in Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas I liked a lot last slate when Kyrie was out and everyone was out, but you know, now that Kyrie's back, I don't see much interest in Cam Thomas. For Wizards too much, I think we answered that. I think 4 is totally fine. KCP or James Johnson? If James Johnson starts, I would probably take him over KCP, but that's a close one. Thoughts on Kispert? I mean, I think Kispert's in play. He probably starts. He's minimum salary. Kispert's not a great point per minute player, but he's minimum salary and he's going to play probably 30 minutes, so he's firmly in play. You can't go wrong with any of those Wizards guys, whether it's Kispert, Avia, Neto, Bryant, you know, KCP. Like, all those guys are so cheap, and they're going to have to get minutes because, you know, they only have like 10 players available. Love this background music. It's so soothing, especially given how stressful DFS can be. A good way to chill after work. Hey, that's what I love to hear, man. That's what I love to hear. Quickly with Barrett out. I mean, I think Quickly could play more. I think the guys that probably get the most minutes, like I think the guys that really benefit without Barrett are probably Alec Burks, Cam Reddish, and maybe Quentin Grimes. But you never really know what Tibbs is going to do. Like, Tibbs is just going to play the hot hand. So, like, if Quickly comes off the bench and starts knocking down a ton of shots, like, Tibbs will play him big minutes. And there's obviously going to be more opportunity for these guys to get minutes without Barrett. I really just think whoever starts for Barrett, that's who I'd feel the best about in terms of, like, value. I think it'll be Cam Reddish, but, you know, who the hell knows at this point. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Best of luck tonight. 7-game slate. You know, we'll be back tomorrow, an hour before lock. I don't know how many games we have on Friday, but usually on Fridays we have bigger slates. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I wish you guys the best of luck tonight. Peace out. See you tomorrow, fellas.